Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Play Life Better podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kelly Gallagher, and founder of Sisu Physical Therapy here in South Jersey. It's a lot of S's. And today I am going to talk about the number one thing I wish my patients knew. As being a practitioner for about 15 years, the number one thing I wish my patients knew overall is, it's building up their own capacity and not being afraid to move. After working in not only acute care setting, I was in as a part-time physical therapist, as well as outpatient, a high volume orthopedic outpatient clinic. And I wish my patients knew it doesn't matter what setting it is the safety of movement and how to move correctly. And I'm not saying we have to have perfect form with everything. It's breathing mechanics, it's bracing, it's pushing yourself beyond what you think is capable. Now, it sounds scary. So here's the deal. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so afraid of blowing out my back. I'm afraid of injuring myself trying, whether it's running or whether it's doing their first 5K, whether it's signing up for a new gym, CrossFit, whether it's high rocks now, anything that is essentially that they're going to tax their bodies, people are afraid. And the number one thing I wish they knew is not to be afraid. Not to be afraid of movement. Not to be afraid of setting new goals, because I think a lot of people think that they're going to fail. A lot of people set out on a goal and they're like, oh, it's too big of a goal. I can't do it. I can't tell you how many times in the eval room I'm like, what would be a home run? What is your number one goal? And they oh, well, I would love to roller skate again. I would love to run a marathon. I'm like, well, why can't you? It's not going to happen tomorrow, but let's set it out as a goal, So that goes back to, like I said, acute care, which is working in the hospital, to working in a high volume clinic, which we saw a lot of motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, even just traditional, even older, Medicare age clients and patients. I wish they had the confidence to move and to, not, you see this not only with physical therapy, but out there in the world, especially in the mummer world. For those of us in Philadelphia, there tends to be a lot of musicians, and and with the string band, we're moving a lot, and people are afraid to move or walk sometimes, when in reality, what's going to happen? Oh, you're going to be a little sore. You're not going to build enough. Your hip's not going to bust. So I wish people knew, not my patients, but in general, how important it is to have some type of movement practice. I'm not talking just oh, go to the gym this time of week. I'm like, it starts with walking, but we're going to push past that, let's strength train, let's load the tissue. I also wish my patients knew, not necessarily mine, but especially the athletic population, the population that really is motivated to continue to push the limits, their own goals. I wish they knew to go to the right provider. That being said, I'm not saying at all other PTs are bad or chiropractors or whatever, or even doctors. I'm saying find someone that is going to push you, because there's so many times I've seen on these internet gurus, people are just putting content out there that's just what the heck. And it's not necessarily bad, but I don't think it's honing in on the right population. So if we're looking at someone that has to move side to side because of basketball, they're sprinting, they're laterally moving. We got to train that, especially my roller derby athletes. Like, I train a lot on their toes because they are on their toe stops so often, and the ankles have to be so supported. We mix up pauses because there's isometric holds, but also we're sprinting on our toes as well. And I also think we have to look at how people are moving, like dive into, like, let's say, again, I'm going to go back to roller derby because it's a big population I treat. We got to make sure these shoulders are nice and strong, because even though we're skating, we're using our shoulders. With golfers, like, there's so many times people just, all right, I'm going to go right out on the course and just play, Okay, cool. What are we doing when we're not on the course? You figure the average golfer's between 90 plus swings that they count. That's actually counted during a course, and that's not even counting practice swings. So if we count practice swings, and let's say you do a practice swing before each swing, you're swinging in around 200 times at least. So the importance of training above this, as well as improving strength for rotational movements, endurance for this, it's so, so important. Another thing, back pain. When people come in and they're like, I can't tell you how many times, even in this setting, even in this high, athletic, motivated mover population, I get people that are like, oh, well, I can't deadlift again. All right. Why? Don't you, pick up things off the ground? Like, what happens if you have to pick something off the ground? What, are you just going to let it sit there? Like, if you have to move something, you're just going to let it sit there. So why aren't we training this? And it's not necessarily we wish my patients knew that the overall goal is to movement overall, even when we're fearful of movements, is to retrain your nervous system to feel safe in those movement patterns. So let's say deadlifts, going back to that. So you're picking something up off the ground. How can we gradually reintroduce it to the nervous system? Like, how do we raise the ground up? Do we start with a lighter weight? Do we start with no weight? Depending on where someone's at, and get them back to moving safely without even thinking about it. They'll be able to pick something up off the ground and not think about it. I think it's so important, just movement in general, because seeing people degrade quickly is terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. If you want to, next time, if you're in the hospital visiting someone, and I know you can't really look in the rooms or anything, but if you happen to just like scoop by some rooms, or if you're going to visit someone in a nursing home or whatever, if you're not moving, if you're not strength training, if you're not pushing yourself now in your 30s, 40s, where do you think that's going to be? Really, like if you're sitting at a desk all day and then you're tired, you're too tired to work out or whatever, where do you think that's gonna end up? I've found that the people that continuing to push themselves and strength train and challenge themselves with different goals, no matter what it is, do the best long term. And it's not like, oh, we're just gonna, like, it's keeping I cannot reiterate the importance of keeping people out of these long-term care settings as long as possible, because the top two reasons people get in there is inability to move and incontinence, right? So, like, let's fix the inability to move as best we can. I mean, we're not, like, things come up, long-term diseases, but if it's preventable, like, okay, if you're sitting at a desk all day or sitting at home all day, or you're not taking care of yourself because your kids are running around and they have to go to soccer practice and they have to do this. What's going to happen with mom? What's going to happen with mom when she is too busy running with the kids, and then something happens, back starts bothering her? And then she's afraid to move. Now she's afraid to deadlift. Now she's afraid to pick things up off the ground. She can't carry the baby like she used to, or whatever. That turns into the next thing and the next thing. And we start overcompensating from there. So if there's overall, the one thing I wish my patients knew was that here's a top secret of physical therapy. This is what physical therapy boils down to. If we were going back to all types of physical therapy, whether you're in like rehab, whether you're in nursing home, whether you're in the hospital, whether you're an outpatient, whether you're here in the athletic population or the motivated movers population, or athletes, like professional athletes. Here's what physical therapy is. It's teaching your body it's safe to move in that pattern again. Because pain is telling you not to. And so that pain tells you not to, and then so you stop. And then what happens? You push it over, it doesn't go away, and now we develop all these circle of things that happen, and little things pop up, and then we can't do it again. And next thing I know, 5 years later, they're in my office. And not for nothing, this reminds me, 6 years ago now was COVID. Yeah. So if you took a stay-at-home job and you're still working from home and you're still working those long hours, you've been doing that now for 6 years and you're not making time for yourself, I think it's time to make time. This is your call to make time for yourself, because no one's coming to save you. Whether you have to get up early in the morning and hit the gym, go for a walk, something. Put an alarm clock on your day to get out and walk. I don't care what it is. Join a pickleball club. Ace Pickleball's coming up the street here. There's pickle juice popping up everywhere. Pickleball places everywhere. Something. Community. Find a community that'll hold you accountable too. Because if you don't find that community, if you don't start now, your community will be playing bingo in the nursing home. So there's that. So if anything you do today, get out, get moving. And if you're already listening to this and you're already moving, keep moving. If you have a little injury or something pop up, find someone to help you. No matter who it is, find a trusted provider that's going to help you reintroduce that movement safely into your practice. So that's all for today. And thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on the Play Life Better podcast.